Hello everyone, back to in today's first video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's first video. So day 10 will take us to around the 9th of January. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with extended GFS and ECM ensembles. Maybe run around a couple of weeks and have a look at CFSV2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. I'm going to have a snow watch for you tonight, so that will be coming up a little bit later on this evening. So I'm going to tell you what's been going on over the past few days. So, of course, Sammy has been filling in for me over the past couple of days with the uploads. So, Sam did a weekend forecast for me on Sunday and Snow Watch yesterday. Big thank to Savvy for that. Absolutely great, great videos. I know you'll love Savvy's weather videos. GavsWeatherVids. So I know you all love that. And thank you so much, Savvy, for that. I was meant to be setting up a new PC, and it should have all been set up by now. But there's been quite a delay on it. I didn't have the right cable to connect the PC to the monitor. So I've got that coming from Amazon, and hopefully when that gets here, then I'll be able to start cracking on and getting it all sort of set up and working okay. But I had to take the old computer out, put the new computer in, and then realise that the new computer wasn't going to work because I hadn't got the right cable for the PC to monitor. So the new computer had to be taken away, and the old computer had to be put back. Now, in the process of all of this, somehow or other, my microphone has stopped working. So I don't know what's happened there, but the mic I normally use isn't working. I just found that out right as I was about to record a couple of minutes ago, and so that's not working. So I don't know what's happened there. I have got a new mic though, but I'm going to use it for a new PC. But for this video, probably for Snow Watch later on, I'm just using like the internal microphone with the webcam. So I'm sure you're aware that it's lower quality. This there's like a tinny sort of effect to the recording. That is because the mic I'm using for this video is just like an internal mic with the webcam. So I'm very sorry about that. I have no idea what's happened to my original microphone after working absolutely fine for several years. It just suddenly decided to stop working. I'm sure it's something to do with like changing everything around and then taking everything back. So in that process, something's happened to the driver with the microphone, I think. But never mind, these things happen, don't they? So we're going to persevere anyway. We will still bring you your weather videos, and so we better get on with that. I have got a lot of pictures to show. For this one, I've got a lot to get through to bring everybody up to date with all of the developments. So I want to crack on this one, and I will try and show some weather pictures in subsequent videos when I've got a bit more time. Right, so we're going to start off with the latest situation in the stratosphere. Let's bring you up to date with that then. So the grey line is like the trend line for temperatures at 10 HPA. The black line is the long-term 30-year temperature average. No, it's not the black line. The grey line is like the long-term 30-year temperature average. The black line is like the current temperature at 10 HPA. Right, okay, so a few days ago it was actually quite cold, cold on average, 10 HPA in the stratosphere. We was down around minus 75. We're now somewhere around minus 65, so we're slightly above average with the temperature at 10 HPA. Temperature has lifted up a little bit, but really, you know, we're pretty close to average, just there in the stratosphere over the North Pole with temperature. 10 HPA. Going a little bit low down to 30 HPA, we see a slight warming has occurred there as well. Again, a few days ago we was colder than average. We was under the grey line. We're now just here. So right now we are we're a little bit above average, but nothing that would be, you know, classified as a sudden stratospheric warming. For that we send the black line up like that. So it's nothing that will be classified as a SSW, but we are a little bit above average at both 10 and 30 HPA. However, like a genuine major stratospheric warming is occurring over Siberia. So this is the latest temperature forecast for 10 HPA from metroseal.fr. So we've got these deep blue colours here over the Arctic, and of course it's the polar vortex at its root. So we've got these over here from Mediterranean up to Siberia and Russia. We've got these yellow, orange and red colours. That's a very significant warming of the stratosphere that is occurring over Siberia at 10 HPA right now. And as we run through, we see this actually intensifies in the coming hours. That does reach sudden stratospheric warming temperature levels. When we see those red colours appearing, then that is a very, very major warming of the stratosphere taking place at 10 HPA. So that carries on right into the opening days of January, moving towards the Arctic and begins to displace these blue colours out in towards the North Atlantic, Europe and North America. So that's what we call a displacement of the polar vortex at its roots in the stratosphere. It's not like a death knell for the polar vortex, but it is being pushed around and displaced southwards, generally from the Arctic in towards the mid-latitudes. So that's how we look as we get towards around the 6th of January. So again, you see the displacement of the polar vortex and its roots in the stratosphere just there. That first warming looks like it's peaching out a little bit over Siberia. And then we go through into the extended range and we get like a renewed warming, not reaching the kind of levels we are at the moment, but we do get a renewed warming appearing here around Russia and Siberia. And that one actually begins to split the polar vortex at its roots in the stratosphere. So there we are as we get to the 14th of January, as far as we go, this GFS run. We have actually got a split of the polar vortex, not just a displacement, but a split of the polar vortex is occurring at its roots in the stratosphere. So very, very interesting. Developments very, very interesting at the moment in the stratosphere. Have been right way through this winter so far, and it's continuing right now. So we will carry on keeping a very, very close eye on developments in the stratosphere. Of course, over the coming few days and weeks in videos. This is how the zonal winds are looking. So zonal winds are the way of looking at the polar vortex, basically. So when you've got a strong zonal wind, then you've got a strong polar vortex. When you weaken the zonal wind, the polar vortex is weakening, and sometimes the zonal winds can go into reverse, and that basically means that the polar vortex is kind of stopping, if you like, and sometimes disappearing for a while as well. When we get these major southern stratospheric warmings, that can happen occasionally, be replaced by blocking. Of course. Right, so the blue line here shows that zonal winds are decelerating at the moment. So we had a strong zonal wind back around the middle of December. Where we are right now, though, is just there. So we have seen a deceleration of the zonal wind, the black line being a trend line, of course. So at this time of year, the zonal winds are just about at their strongest as the stratosphere is just about at its coldest. So the polar vortex will typically be at its strongest now and through into sort of early to mid-January. Now, if we put in the GFS ensembles, you can see that the zonal winds are forecast to weaken still further over the next couple of weeks. So, current position is there, of course. In a few days' time, in the new year, we're going to be around here. So, not quite a reversal of zonal winds, but certainly a very dramatic deceleration of zonal winds. And many more accelerated. Some of these GFS ensemble members are actually sending zonal winds into reverse, going underneath this zero line. That will be associated with the sudden stratospheric warming, sending zonal winds into reverse. And if that gets down into the troposphere, that is a signal for blocking. Now, of course, what's interesting about this season is that we have already had quite a lot of blocking, even without sudden stratospheric warming, and without zonal winds being in reverse. So clearly we have had a discrepancy between the stratosphere and the troposphere. You know, they are not aligned this winter. Stratosphere up to now has been quite set up for a strong polar vortex, but we haven't seen that in the tropospheric level. This is the Arctic oscillation observed and forecast. So the black line shows where we've been with the Arctic oscillation. Red line's at the end where the GFS ensembles are forecasting the Arctic oscillation to go. And you can see that, like, since the beginning of December, the AO generally been in negative territory. That's a signal for blocking. When the AO is negative, when the Arctic oscillation is negative, you're going to have high pressure, you're going to have blocking within the northern latitudes. Conversely, when the AO is positive, you're going to have low pressure within the northern latitudes and the polar vortex, of course. So quite interesting what's happened this winter so far between the troposphere and the stratosphere, with the troposphere being showing a blocking signal, having blocking, even though the stratosphere has actually been quite cold, and we've had a reasonably strong zone of wind. So there has been this discrepancy between the troposphere and the stratosphere this season. It'll be interesting to see what happens, when zone of wind's going to reverse. And it'll be interesting what happens with the blocking then. Will the blocking move? At the moment, the blocking has been quite conducive to keeping us cold. So, maybe I'm just wondering whether we actually want, if we want cold weather and cold weather this winter, I'm just wondering whether we really want this sudden stratospheric warming. Maybe that will move the blocks into different positions, and we'll find ourselves going onto the mild side of the block or something. It's an unknown quite what's going to happen, I think, this season with this sudden stratospheric warming, what impacts it will have on the troposphere, given we have had a strong blocking signal. But GFS, so where we are right now with the AO is just there, so clearly we're really negative with the Arctic Oscillation. But GFS ensembles are forecasting the AO to stay negative or very negative over the next couple of weeks in towards the middle of January. So the signal for blocking continues in terms of the Arctic Oscillation. At the same time, the NAO is also forecast to trend negative as well. So again, this is just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state, not driving anything, so in terms just tells what the atmosphere is doing. And so when the NAO is positive, we're setting up like a westerly pattern with low pressure around Iceland and high pressure through the Azores. But when the NAO goes negative, then we'll be setting up like a blocking pattern with high pressure towards Iceland and low pressure through the Azores. Now, where we are right now is around neutral with the NAO, but you see from the red lines here that the GFS ensembles are forecasting that the NAO will go into negative territory. The NAO will become negative as we go through the first half of January. Very, very interesting, isn't it? But both the AO and the NAO are going to be significantly negative through the first half of January, and this is a signal for cold weather. This is a signal for a cold first half to January, I think. Possibly wintry. December is ending on a cold note, of course, so this is bringing the CT down. Central temperature now is standing at 5.6. That's an anomaly of just 0.8 of a degree above average. So it's like gone under 1 degree above average now. That's provisional to the 28th. So there's still like another 3 days of cooling to go. So how low will this go? Probably go down, may go down to like low 5s. Perhaps go down to 5.0 or something if there's a downwards correction as well. It will be interesting to see what happens there as well. So much to keep an eye on at the moment. These are the 500 millibar height normal flow charts, Penn State University for the next week to 10 days. We've got the ECMWF on the top, the GFS, which I'll have in a moment, is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is there in actual high pressure, low pressure. I've been moved around by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates high pressure, blue extrapolates to low pressure. So you can see, but with the ECM, we're going to have this large area of blocking to the north. This takes us to day 10, which is going to be around the 9th of January, so into the second week of January. We've got this blocking area of high pressure to our north, and then we've got, let's change the colour, we're going to have this trough of low pressure to the south. There's going to be a signal to pull in easterly winds, so that's looking cold and blocked in the week to 10-day time frame. And the GFS is very similar, again with the low pressure to the south, the very strong northern blocking to the north up here. And again, you will think we're like pulling in easterly, northerly, northeasterly winds. Certainly winds for a cold direction anyway. So both the GFS and the ECM are looking cold and wintry in the days sort of 7 to 10 time frame. Very, very interesting. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. The red line is 30-year upper air temperature average looking at London today. So for the next 10 days, we're solidly below average for the next 10 days. After that, we get a little bit more scatter starting to appear. So there are some ensemble levels that are going to be milder as we go into the second week of January. Equally, though, there are many that are keeping it quite cold, I think. And so the white line, it does lift up a little bit. This is like the ensemble mean. So this is the mean line of all those individual lines of spaghetti. It does lift up a little bit through the second week of January, but still generally staying on the cold side despite these milder runs up here. So the second week of January may turn milder, but it is by no means guaranteed that it will turn milder, if you see what I mean. Precipitation-wise, going to be quite a lot of precipitation coming up as well over the next week to 10 days. So even though it's cold, there is going to be precipitation around. And, of course, we do have to factor in that some of that could well be snow at times with the temperature being generally on the cold side. So a cold and wintry, certainly first week to January, looks like it's pretty much guaranteed there as far as anything can be with the weather. Temperature anomalies from the 29th of December to the 6th of January are going to be colder than average. Look at that, quite significantly so, quite substantially colder than average, not just the UK, but through most parts of Western Europe as well. Precipitation anomalies from the 29th of December to the 6th of January are going to be drier than average as well. So cold but dry sums it up. However, bear in mind, there will be precipitation around. And what precipitation falls can fall as snow with the temperature anomaly being so cold. This is the latest wind flow map from earthandoldskool.net showing that northerlies are in. We've got northerly winds with us right now, and it's quite a long fetch northerly as well. If you follow the arrows back, you can see that the origins of this northerly is a very long way north up here within the Arctic and absolutely plunging southwards across the western side of Europe. So cold northerly winds at the moment, and of course that's the reason temperatures have dropped quite significantly since Christmas. Right, so this is how the UK Met is looking for Friday. It's New Year's Day, of course, with low pressure just to our southeast, winds in from the north, looking cold and potentially wintry. That's midnight New Year's Day, so it might be quite wintry overnight, New Year's Eve to New Year's Day, with low pressure bringing the risk of sleet and snow to southern and eastern parts of the country. Staying cold, really, running up towards 144 hours, and winds actually back into the east. So we start bringing easterly winds then through the weekend into the early part of next week. That probably changes the orientation of distribution of showers, of wintry showers. With more of an easterly, you could expect eastern and southern parts of the country perhaps to have more in the way of wintry showers, with northern areas maybe going a little bit drier. We'll cover this much more in Snow Watch tonight, of course. I want to show you this. This is last night's GFS 18 set. This is last night's pub run. It was really dramatic, so I thought I'd just include this for a bit of fun for today's video. So starting on New Year's Eve with northerly winds keeping us cold and wintry, we keep winds in from the north and they back easterly over weekend into the early part of next week, staying cold then through to the early part of next week with the GFS 18Z. And then this area, what happened is that it brought a trough down from the north. That's kinking the ice bar just there on Monday, 4th of January, but by Tuesday, 5th of January, that kink has turned into an area of low pressure. So it brings an area of low pressure plunging southwards from the north, and that would be primarily containing snow. That's primarily snow coming down that area of low pressure, sinking through the country. Look at the blocking over Greenland as well. So very cold and very wintry for next week with the GFS 18Z last night. Day 10, 7th of January. I mean, that's about as wintry as it gets, really. Low pressure over top of the country, bringing in northeasterly winds. There'd be lots of snow, that area of low pressure, and it would be really cold as well. And then just kept the cold going. That's the strange thing about this 18Z. Even into the second week of January, extended range winds staying in from the north, and also starting to see a very deep cold pool appearing to our north. So as this next trough plunges in from the north, bringing yet more snow, also brings the -10 Celsius ice firm with it. That is genuine, really cold air plunging in from the north. So the GFS 18 was very, very cold and very wintry, ending perhaps trying to bring up some milder air from the southwest by the 13th of January. But of course, as that comes into cold air, there would be a big snow event, even if mild air eventually, or milder air eventually starts to tuck in from behind. So that really set everything ablaze on the forums and elsewhere on social media last night. That GFS 18 said, and I thought I'd include it in this video. This is the very latest. This is for 6 there. This very latest GFS run, starting on New Year's Day, winds in from the north, so cold for the new year. Into the weekend, again stays cold, high pressure remains to our northwest, winds are in from the east, so cold and wintry over the weekend. And into the early part of next week, again we keep those easty winds coming, so it stays cold and wintry. The east wind probably changes the distribution of the showers, bringing more eastern and southern areas perhaps in line for wintry conditions. Moving up towards day 10, the 6 edge stays cold. Winds remain from a north to northeasterly direction, blocking, strengthening, if anything, towards Greenland. Running up towards day 10, masses of northern blocking there towards Greenland. And that's how we get to day 10, which is the 8th of January. Still cold, winds still in from a northeasterly direction. Now, the extended range, which GFS 18Z does eventually start to turn us milder, has still got this deep cold pool to the north, though. So we have to watch out for that. If that starts to plunge southwards, then we could start to see very cold conditions setting up as well as wintry weather. But actually, this keeps that cold air at bay and starts pulling up like a milder southwesterly through the second week of January. So the GFS 6Z does go milder through early January. Actually finish up very through the middle of January, I should say, second week of January. Actually finish up very mild with like a really strong southwesterly push there. Look at the upper air temperatures. Wow, +10 Celsius iceberg moving up from like the Azores and the Canary Islands. So that will lift temperatures into the mid-10 Celsius probably by the middle of January. Can you believe that? After just a few days before being really, really cold. Very strange runs at the moment. But I don't think we should take that overly seriously, particularly in this sort of blocked type pattern. I really wouldn't look beyond sort of 5 to 7 days at all with this. So I think we have to take that with a large health warning. GM looks like this, cold and wintry for New Year's Day. And then we move on into the weekend. We keep it cold with winds in from an east to northeast direction. Winds go easterly through the early part of next week as a little area of low pressure towards the southeast as well. So that could be quite interesting for the southeast from a snow perspective. Remember, GM sort of keeps it cold, running up towards day 10, actually moves that high pressure back to Greenland again as we get to day 10, which is the 8th of January. It's pulling in like a renewed northerly there. So that's keeping us cold. In fact, it's turning colder probably as we move up towards day 10 with a -10 Celsius ice firm heading down in towards Scotland. And the ECM looks like this. Again, cold and wintry for New Year's Day with low pressure over to the east of the country. Winds in from the north. Staying cold and wintry through the weekend into the early part of next week. Winds eventually backing into the east as well, probably bringing snow showers to southern and eastern parts of the country. Hints of retrogression here with high pressure going back towards Greenland as we move through the middle part of next week. Low pressure trying to come up from the south as well. That could bring some snow up with it. That's how it looks as we get to day 10. So we've got low pressure trying to come up from the south, but we're also trying to pull cold air down from the north as well. So a bit of a battle is going on there, and of course that could produce a snow event, but it's 10 days away and we wouldn't know until much closer to the time frame exactly how that works itself out. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Precipitation.com. There's snow around today as we go through into tomorrow. We'll cover some snow watch tonight, but there's chance of some snow in more southern parts of the country there. However, the ECM has toned that down a lot from what it was showing yesterday. That was showing a snow event across most of England and Wales for Wednesday. Now the snow is primarily confined to the south of the M4, really. But But again, that might be trending further north. We'll have to wait and see. It could be trending further south and miss us entirely. Of course, we'll cover that in Snow Watch later. See what's going on there. Then we go through to New Year's Eve. We start bringing snow in from the north. Then across parts of England and Wales. That's New Year's Day. Wintry showers primarily around coastal areas for New Year's Day. And then we'll start picking up those easterly winds, which the eastern run actually brings rain in from the east. But I'm not sure about that at all. I would suspect that would be more wintry than the ECM midnight run is forecasting there. And then we move up towards day 10. It's more snow as we get towards day 10 across England and Wales. Eventually start to drag something a bit milder in from the southwest. Not the snowiest ECM run we've had by any means. So it has toned down the snow risk quite a lot. So we'll have a look in Snow Watch tonight at the snow risk, primarily for tomorrow, but also around the New Year period as well. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensemble today for day 10. Gets us to the 8th of January. So we have 11 members of the ECM ensembles with blocking to our north and northwest with a trough of low pressure over the country, so that's going to be quite cold and it will be pretty wintry as well. 11 have high pressure to the northwest, low pressure is to the south. Winds will be coming in from an easterly direction with that one. 8 with a mid-Atlantic ridge going up towards Greenland and low pressure to our east. Winds in from the north with that one. 7 with high pressure to our north-northwest, low pressure to the south. Winds in from the east. Another 7 with low pressure to our east and south, high pressure to our north and west. That's going to be cold, wintry as well, of course. And then another 7 just here, again with high pressure to the north, low pressure to the south, winds in from the east. So pretty much all options there are cold at day 10, to be honest. This one, it does include the operational run. This is probably the mildest of the options, the 11 that we've got here. But they all involve significant amounts of northern blocking. And just the exact placement of the northern blocking at day 10, but that's up for a discussion really. But they've all got strong northern blocking and potential to be cold up to day 10. In 2 weeks' time, this gets to the 13th of January. These are the options. We've got 15 members of the ECM ensemble then have deep low pressure over the top of the country, and despite still having blocking towards green, are probably milder and bringing in winds from a west-southwesterly direction. 14 keep us cold with high pressure remaining to our northwest, low pressure to our south, winds in from the east. 13 have a ridge over to the east country and to the north with low pressure to the southwest. This is going to be bringing up the wind from perhaps a milder southerly direction. So again, despite lots of north blocking there, that could be a bit milder. And then 9 just here with lower pressure over to the north and west, and possibly bringing up a little bit more of a westerly flow as well. So maybe by middle of January, we are seeing a few hints here that things could begin to get a little bit less cold or a little bit milder. But, you know, it's a long way off. We've got to wait and see, I think. CMSV2 finally, so these are 500 millibar heights bring down to week periods. The first week period takes from the 28th of December to 3rd of January. The coming week, of course, has a lot of northern blocking to the north with low pressure over into the south of the country. Winds are going to be in from an easterly direction with that. The next week's period is going to take us from the 4th to the 10th of January. Again, high pressure blocking to the north, low pressure to the south, winds in from the east with that one. That's going to be cold and wintry again. Week 3 is the 11th to the 17th of January. Again, with blocking to the north, low pressure to the west. Winds again coming in from a cold easterly direction with that one. And then week 4 is going to be the 18th to 24th of January with low pressure to our northwest, high pressure to our south, and winds going into a west-southwesterly direction. That's milder as we go to week 4. But of course, that's 4 weeks away. It's a long way off. Temperature anomalies for the next 4 weeks will be like this. So 28th of December to 3rd of January, colder than average. We've got a cold week coming up. Another cold week for week 2 as well. That's the 4th to the 10th of January. That one is also colder than average. Week 3 is cold and average as well. 11th to 17th of January. That one also cold. And then milder than average week 4. which is the 18th, 24th of January, milder into the second half of January. Temperature anomalies, week 1, precipitation anomalies, I should say, week 1. Finally, so this is drier than average week coming up, 28th, 7th to 3rd of January, but because it's cold, what precipitation there is could be wintry. Week 2 is the 4th to the 10th of January, also drier than average, so cold and dry for weeks 1, weeks 2. That's a little bit more unsettled for week 3, 11th, 17th of January, but it is still quite cold in that week, so that perhaps has a slightly greater chance of snow. And then week 4 goes mild than average, it's also wetter than average, it's 18th, 24th of January, wetter than average there, and as it's gone milder, we would be considering rain rather than snow. Right, that's it for this video then. Nearly half an hour, very extended video. I hope you found it interesting and informative. There's so much going on at the moment. I have not shown you the latest ECMWF 42-day forecast either. I'm going to have to include that in a video in the next couple of days as well, I think, because that's a really interesting run from the ECM that appeared last night. There's so much going on, so much to talk about right now. If you enjoyed this video, please can you smash the like button. Let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe as well. We are now on the grind, can you believe this, to 10k subscribers. Incredible. We hit 9k on that little live stream that I did on Sunday. And it means that we are now on the grind to 10,000 subscribers for the GavsWeatherVids YouTube channel. Absolutely amazing. So please sub if you can. Right, I'll be back later on with Snow Watch. For this one, though, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.